Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's Temtem video guide, we're going to be showing you the basics of breeding. Now this is just going to be showing you the mechanics behind breeding, how everything works, what kind of goes down to the baby Temtem and stuff like that. We're not going to be doing any strategies to get the best Temtem or get the Temtem with perfect SVs or anything like that. I'll probably do one of those once the full game releases, just to know what items we have available and stuff like that. But in this video guide, we're just going to be going over how it works in general. So obviously, to start off, the breeding center in Temtem is in the on the second island, which is Superior Omninasia, and yeah, it's the building with the little shell on it. So one of the biggest difference from something like Pokemon breeding is that in Temtem, each Tem is going to have a fertility level, and each time we breed with that Temtem, it is going to lose one level. Now, fertility normally starts around about level 8 when we catch a new Temtem. However, this could be reduced depending on how good of SVs they have. So SVs, if you're not sure what they are, they're basically like a hidden stat. It's basically exactly the same as IVs in Pokemon. Now, the perfect SV is 50 in that stat. However, for each stat that's got over 45 SV, it's going to reduce the amount of fertility we are going to get with that Temtem. So the higher the SVs, the lower the number of fertility. It's also worth mentioning that the baby Temtem that comes out of the egg is always going to have the same amount of fertility as the lower of the two parent Temtem. So say the mother's gotten level 8 fertility, or in this case it would be level 7 because we've already used her to breed, and the father has a level 6 fertility, the baby is always going to get the lowest, which would be the level 6 fertility. Now let's move on to the actual menu we get once we select the mother and the father Temtem. Obviously, one has to be female and one has to be male, and it's obviously worth mentioning that one of their types must be the same. So you can breed something like an electric water type with an electric plant type, for instance. As long as one of the types is the same, you will be able to breed those Temtems. Now, the cool thing about breeding in this game is that we actually kind of get a rough idea of what the baby Temtem could look like. So let's use this Genki for an example. So on the left, we've got a female Genki as the mother, and on the right, we've got a male Nestler as the father. So the first thing that comes into sight is all these numbers below the SVs. So we can actually see both the mother and the father's SVs. So all these SVs down below for the baby means that, for instance, on HP, 13 would be the lowest, which would be the SVs from the father, and 19 would be the highest, which is the 19 SVs from the mother. Now, the middle one just is kind of an average, so we don't know which one it's going to be. However, there is items that you can buy here in the breeding center, which will allow the baby to get one of the stats that we choose, either from the mother or the father. Also, as you can see, the attack is just 31, and that's just because both the mother's and the father's SVs is 31. So let's move over here to the right hand side. As we can see, the baby is going to come out with 2 moves. Now, normally the baby that comes out of the egg is only going to have the first attack on the list of the mother's side, which would in this case be Sparks. However, Genki can actually learn an egg move named Tesla Prison, and that's because the father, which is Nestler, actually has this move. Now, I recommend going to check on the wiki to see all the possible egg moves. I obviously don't know them myself, but specific Temtem can have moves from other Temtem, like Tesla Prison, which they would not normally learn unless the other parent is that specific Temtem. And as for the trait, that's where all those question marks are down the bottom, and we're not really ever going to know which trait is going to be. And really that explains what this menu is all about. Now, there are a few other things that I'd like to explain, like Lumas. So Lumas in Temtem are basically shiny Pokemon, and unlike in Pokemon, breeding shiny Pokemon doesn't really affect the possibility of the egg being a shiny. However, in Temtem, it actually helps a lot. So if one of the parents is a Luma Temtem, it's actually going to boost the chances of the egg of being times 10. Normally, a chance of finding a Luma Temtem is going to be 1 in 6,000. So if one of the parent is a Luma, then the egg's got a 1 in 600 chance. And if both parents are Luma, then the egg's got a 1 in 60 chance, which is absolutely amazing. So once you're happy with all that, you're just going to press breed. And like in Pokemon, you're actually going to have to wait quite a bit for an egg. Normally, you're going to have to wait 25 minutes. However, if both of the Temtems are the same type of Temtem, like the exact same breed, it is going to take only 15 minutes. And then once you've got an egg, depending on luck, it's either going to take from 5 minutes to 45 minutes of just walking around. It's also worth noting that there is a side quest that will reward you with an egg timer, so you can actually see the timer on the egg. But I'm definitely going to be doing a separate video about that. I'll leave that down in the description once it's done. And really that's all there is to the basics of breeding in Temtem. Like I said, I may do a more advanced guide once the actual full game comes out, and that way I know which kind of items we're working with and stuff like that. But for now, we're going to leave it like that. Hopefully this was helpful, guys. If it was, please go like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.